Hello, good morning. So, the thoughts for today are about this painting behind me. And there's just a lot of different things that are coming up every time that I look at it. And specifically yesterday, I like this this part that I'm going to share with you was new and like yeah, it's very cool. The dynamics that went with it. So yeah, like when you have your life and you're living it a certain way and then all of a sudden you change your perspective a little bit. Well, this is what this painting is for me. So yeah, so here's the painting, and I painted the whole wall, and I think it was like 2 years ago that I painted it. And if you notice that there's over in this corner here, there's like a bird figure, and then you see all of the brown streaks that are kind of going out into the world. That's kind of what I see them as, like kind of feathers from the bird, and they're going up into this corner. And so I always thought that it was all about, letting letting my inner self just out into the world. But there's a whole other piece to it, I feel like, as of yesterday. Now, if you look at this part here, it may look like feminine bits. And this is what I saw, is that like all of our body is representing some aspects of our lives, right? Our mind is all about thinking and how we know who we are. Our throat is about what we speak to the world. Our heart is about how we embrace or love different parts of us or different parts of people around us. And then like our gut is all about that that sense of self. And there's other aspects, but these are just kind of the highlights. And then in our kind of groin area, that is kind of that there's many pieces to it. That's like the creative thing. That is like our sense of sexuality and sensuality. There's all different things that happen with that. And then that root, right? Like that base of our being, like the base that comes like right here, is all about that grounding um, into whatever, into the earth, into our world, just that grounding, that sense of like to allow for all of these chakras, these energy centers of our world. And then we also have our brow, which is that sense of knowing, and that crown is the connection to God or the higher power. So there's all of these centers, and this center right here, that sensuality, sexuality, all about creativity, all about like how, like, anyway, so that piece right there is, I feel like, for me, very, very pertinent. And then how it connects right back to the heart, right? And just about that sense of love of self, right? That loving our innermost being, and that sense of doing, right? Because that's what the sexuality is about, is doing as well. So all of these pieces in this, and I never saw this before. I always saw it going out. And I also thought it was interesting too that the brown streaks kind of stop right about there, right? And so they don't go any further on this painting. Anyway, just all of these little observations that I noticed today, and also wanted to share with you, and just to kind of like, if you are feeling like you need that connection with that doing, that taking that step forward within yourself, right? That love of self, and that getting moving forward. Yeah, like maybe I'm not the only one that feels this today. And also this connection with all of our centers and all of our beingness, and how they are related to that sense of doing, that sense of going forward in life. And yeah, how are you doing today? How are you, like, and I mean, like, how are you doing? Like, how are you getting things done today? Are you just like pushing forward and doing it? Or are you like, do you really have that connection to yourself today? And all it takes is a few minutes to just like center in and like close your eyes and just kind of, I don't know, I always think of it like if you have your feet like planted kind of wide, you see my crazy shorts, but if you have your feet kind of planted like shoulder width apart, and if you just like kind of hold space for yourself, what does that mean? So there's many ways to think of it. Like we could think of it as in just stand with ourselves. We could also think of it um, like this. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is like have your feet hip widths apart, and then just kind of like sometimes our tendency is to step forward, but kind of balance on your feet, like all four corners of your feet. And then kind of lean back a little bit and allow for that space, like kind of a space in front of you to kind of be that observer of yourself and just to kind of have that space for you. So when we lean back, we allow things to come into our world and allow ourselves to come into our body. And that's what I'm talking about, is just kind of allowing that sense of self to come into our doing today. All right. So if you just take a few minutes for yourself and just kind of allow that and like hold that space for yourself and allow that sense of being to come in. All right. Have a good day. Okay. Bye.